Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Due to COVID-19, Committee of Adjustment public hearings are being conducted virtually by electronic means through WebEx Webinar, an online digital platform and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. Participants who registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx Webinar, which is moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing can watch it on YouTube. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All participants are automatically muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant is unmuted by city staff, one person at a time. We ask that you mute your devices until you are called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance are temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you are reinstated as an attendee. Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Members of the public and applicants are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. City staff will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. For all those who are waiting online, please ensure that you have called in with the phone number that you originally registered with. If you called in with a different number, you will not be able to speak on the item. To ensure audio clarity, I suggest that you do not use the speakerphone function on your telephones. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Alan Smithies and I will chair today's meeting. Joining us on the panel today are Ron Hunt, Asif Khan, Paul Kidd, and Nadini Sankar Peralta. City staff are also present: Simon Lamb, Chris Pereira, Sam Mozignani, and Alex Chu. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw that apply to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone attending today who wants to receive a copy of the committee's decision must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because Committee of Adjustment and the T-Lab will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the committee's decision, it may be appealed to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, T-Lab, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the committee's decision. The hearing procedure is as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak on the item. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into the committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, is given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute limit. When addressing the committee, please state clearly your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters described in the application. The applicant or agent proceeds first and will make their presentation to the committee. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. To ensure that a revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes, the committee may decide to defer the application if it is substantially revised. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, are invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the previous speakers. This marks the end of discussion on the item. The application is then taken into committee for a decision. Are there any panel members here this afternoon who have a conflict of interest they'd like to declare? None? Okay, thank you. We have some deferral requests for this afternoon. The first one is 222 Saint Germain. That is item number, I'm sorry, my mistake. Item number 34, 1780 Victoria Park Avenue. And I have one person registered to speak on that item. That's Aislinn McDonald. Are you there? Aislinn McDonald, are you there?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ashlyn McDonald is my name, and business address is 30567 Mowat Avenue. And the project in question is 1780 Victoria Park Avenue.
Okay, thank you, madam. I've gone through your file. I note there are a couple of reports registered on your application. There's one from Transportation Services dated the 7th of July, which was requesting deferral of your application to provide a parking utilization study and a revised site plan. And there's also a city planning report dated the 5th of July, which had recommended conditions regarding provisions of amenity areas and covenants concerning renovation costs for tenants. Just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to review both those reports, madam?
Yes, thank you for asking. We've reviewed both of the reports, and as per the recommendations from the Transportation Department.
Madam, we're having trouble hearing you. Your audio is very, your sound is off there. It's hard to understand you.
Okay, my apologies. Is it better now?
Okay, that's the best you can do. We'll try and suffer through it. Okay. Can you tell the committee the reason for the deferral?
Yes, so apologies. So our reason for deferral is transportation has requested deferral because they would like us to provide some additional information on our parking study. And so we've engaged our consultant in that matter, and we are working towards providing them with that additional information.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on the deferral request, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, I'll motion to defer this application sine die to provide them a chance to address the transport's deferral requests.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second that? Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? Mr. Khan, are you in favor? Yes. Okay, thank you. Madam, your application's been deferred to the next available meeting so that you can discuss your application with Transportation Services. Good luck, madam.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Number was it?
We're now on
What number was it?
34.
Thank you,
Number
sir.
34. We're now on item number 35. We have a deferral request for that one. That's 22 Prestwick Crescent. I have, I guess, the agent, Andrea Crisolia. Are you there?
Hello?
Andrea Crisolia, are you there?
Yes?
Yes, hello. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Okay, so my name is Andre Guzzolia. I'm the authorized agent for the homeowner at 22 Prestwick Drive.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Just before you start, I note that there are a couple of reports on file with your application. There's a city planning report dated the 5th of July that's recommending that your application be refused. And there's also a letter from Councillor Carroll dated the 14th of July, which is not in favor of your requested variances. So I'll just ask, sir, what's the purpose of the deferral?
Well, I mean, we've tried to satisfy on a couple of the variances, but, I mean, in trying to provide a little bit more leniency on the rear deck and the rear yard setback, the heights still kind of stayed the same. In saying that, we have more letters of refusal, plus seeing that the councilor's on board to consider refusal, we'd like to take some more time to work with planning so that we could alleviate some of these issues that, of course, the neighbors are contesting against.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person I had registered on our lister. I had a John Short. Are you there, sir? John Short.
John, you're unmuted.
Mr. Short, are you there?
I am here.
Yes, sir. Can I get your full name and address, please?
My name is John Short. My address is 12 Belize Court, Richmond Hill. I'm the state representative for 20 Prestwick Crescent.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any objections to the applicant's request for a deferral?
Well, I would challenge the fact that this is a second deferral and the time and effort that everyone's going through to including city reports to look at the actual application. And this application seems to be less thorough than the first one. And I don't quite understand the process, but in my mind, it should be voted on and turned down and they should resubmit. But that's really up to you guys. There's significant gaps in the second application that we're here to talk about today, not even recognizing side lot lines and things like that. So I'm a bit disturbed that, something so significant with variances in every direction is not being done thoroughly. So I think that should be considered by the committee.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Karen Spears. Are you there? Karen Spears, are you there?
Karen, you're unmuted.
Thank you.
Yes, can I get your full name and address, madam?
Karen Ann Spears, 85 Cresthaven Drive, North York.
Okay, thank you, madam. Do you have an objections to the applicant's request for a deferral?
Well, I agree with Mr. Short. Okay, this is our second round here, and it appears from the paperwork that was submitted that there are various items from the March 14th submission that have not been added into this. So I'm curious as to whether or not those items have been satisfied. And again, the deferral. What is it that we're looking to do here? It appears that they have not made significant changes, and they're still asking for variances that are well outside of what is permitted.
Madam, there is a refusal request from city planning, and they want to address
I did
those
see that.
concerns from city planning. And I would
I did-
also put in a condition that they discuss the matter with residents as well.
Yes, I did see that because I have been actively on the site. So again, I agree with Mr. Short that by deferring it, I mean, how much of people's time are we going to keep wasting here? Why is it that they can't comply to the zoning bylaws? Or they
Madam,
don't
I
want to?
can't answer that. I have no, we can go back and ask the applicant, but it's his right to ask for a deferral.
Okay, I accept that. But again, I agree with Mr. Short. It's wasting everybody else's time here, including yours.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any
Okay,
questions of the speaker? Can I get a motion on the applicant's request, please? On the applicant's deferral request? Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Having listened to the applicant and the concerns expressed by the other speakers, nonetheless, I have to take into consideration the recommendation both by the planning department and by Councillor Carroll that it be refused. So I am going to support an application for deferral.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Someone to second that? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries. Sir, your application's been deferred to the next available meeting so that you can discuss your application with city planning, and I also strongly recommend that you touch base with area residents on this application as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're now back to item number 19, 187 Sherwood Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That's Mihai Haristia, Hristea. Are you there?
I'm right here. That's correct. It's Mihai Krista. I go by Michael.
Yes, hello. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Sure. It's Mihai Catalin Krista. The address is 187 Sherwood Avenue, Unit G.
Okay, thank you. I have, going through your file, sir, I noticed that there are no staff comments or conditions attached to your file. You have one variance here for a platform encroachment. It's pretty clear what you're asking for. I'll just ask, sir, is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this afternoon?
I think I've made my case in the cover letter. We had a deck there when we bought the unit 3 years ago. We had a deck there which was extending all the way to the fence, and our plan was to remove it because it was in very bad shape and just keep a small portion of it. So we're actually reducing the original variance that existed there.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I think that this does meet the 4 tests. It's very simple, and I'll motion to approve this application as is.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second that motion? Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application's been unanimously approved without condition. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your help.
Thank you. We're on to item number 20, 151 St. Clements Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That is the agent, Lisa Christie. Are you there, madam?
Here?
Yes, hello. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yep, it's Lisa Christie, and I work for WE Outright and Associates at 2140 Winston Park Drive, Suite 28 in Oakville, Ontario, L6H 5V5.
Okay, thank you. Madam, I just wanted to note, I've gone through your file. I note there are a couple of city reports listed here. We have one from Transportation Services dated the 7th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Madam, can you turn off? We're getting feedback from your device. Can you turn it off? Just use your phone.
Use my phone. I don't know how to do that.
Or turn off your computer.
Sorry, I'm just on my computer. Todd, why would there be feedback?
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, are you there?
Sorry, I'm not sure why there would be feedback. I'm just using my computer audio.
Okay.
It's okay now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Christie, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, we have, as I said, there was a Transportation Services report dated the 7th of July, which had no objections to the parking-related variances. And there was a city planning report dated the 4th of July, which had no objections subject to a condition. I just wanted to know, madam, if you had the opportunity to review those reports.
I did indeed review the reports, and we concur with the conclusions of both of them.
Okay, it's, I can see the variances that you have before us. Pretty clear what you're asking for. I was just going to ask, Madam, is there anything that you'd
Yeah.
like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this morning?
No, I just wanted to reiterate that there is, the client is simply looking to add a third story to an existing dwelling. They're not changing anything with the existing home, no increases in setback or decreases in setbacks. It's just an FSI issue because we're adding the third story, but very similar to what is going on elsewhere, not only on St. Clemens Avenue, but in this neighborhood in general.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would ask regarding variance number 4. FSI is very high. Why?
It's high because the way the basement is actually not below grade. It's a reverse grade driveway, so the basement level is actually counted as the ground floor. If we took that out, if it was actually, if the grade was different and the basement was counted as a basement, the FSI would only be at 0.87, which is well within similar variance in the area.
So it is because of
It's a matter of how the grade. Sorry?
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's just a matter of how the grade is on this property. If you look at the neighbors on either side, their driveways are at grade and flat. They wouldn't have the same calculation, but because with this home, which is already existing and none of it is changing, it's a reverse grade driveway. Therefore, the basement actually is counted under zoning regulations as ground floor, but it isn't actually.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Hunt? Mr. Hunt, we can't hear you.
Sorry. I've listened to the presentation and acknowledging that this is simply the addition of a third story on a single footprint. I would move approval of this subject to the July 4th planning report, which specifies the condition that it be developed substantially in accordance with site plan drawing as submitted to the Committee of Adjustment as attached to their report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hunt. Someone to second that? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Madam, your application's been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Item number 21, 140 Chatsworth Drive. I have one person registered to speak. That is a Jonathan Hatch. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Yes, can I get your full name and address, please?
Of course. Jonathan Hatch, representing 140 Chatsworth. My address is 6 Bishop Street, Toronto, Ontario, M5R 1N2.
Thank you very much, sir. I noticed that you have one variance before us for location of the side lot line eaves. There are no staff comments or conditions listed in your file, so I just wanted to ask, is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this afternoon?
No, I believe it's a very simple application. We're preparing a very sympathetic addition on top of an existing one-story addition. And in order to create a similar roof line to what's already there, we require a 0 setback variance since it's an existing house with an existing condition.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The proposed variance is minor in my opinion. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application without condition.
Thank you, sir. Someone to second that? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Mr. Hatch, your application's been unanimously approved without condition.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 22, 99 Hannah Road. I have 3 people registered to speak. The agent is a Monica Kuhn, K-U-H-N. Are you there?
I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Great. It's Monica Kuhn, address 12 Sackville Place, Toronto, M4X 1A4, and I'm the agent for the owner.
Okay, thank you. I just gone through your file. I note there's only one staff report here. It's from Transportation Services dated the 7th of July. They had no objections to your parking-related variances. We do have 2 other persons registered to speak, madam, so if you'd like to give the committee a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal.
Mr. Chair, one of the individuals that's registered to speak is not on the line, and I've been informed that the other person that was a late registration is the owner of the property.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you. So we have no other persons registered to speak. Okay, thank you. Madam, just to follow up on that, is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this afternoon?
Just to reiterate that we do have 13 support letters from surrounding neighbors, including the 3 neighbors that are directly adjacent to our property. And you'll also see that I put together a list of previous C of A approval cases that I received from Committee of Adjustment, and they're all within the required area, and they all have very similar variances we're proposing. So I don't see that what we're proposing is not in keeping with the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, transportation services is okay with the variance number 5, 8, and 10, and there is no staff recommendations. Variance seems to be minor, therefore I move this application be approved.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Someone to second Mr. Khan's motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Oh, no, Mr. Hunt's in favor. Yeah, that motion carries unanimously. Ms. Kuhn, your application's been unanimously approved without condition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 23, 28 Sultana Avenue. I have 1 person registered to speak. That's Glenn Rubinoff. Mr. Rubinoff, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Rubinoff. I note that we have 1 report from Transportation Services, which indicates that they had no objections to your application subject to conditions. I just wanted to ask if you had the opportunity to review that report.
Yes, we have no concerns with that.
Okay, thank you. We have no other persons registered to speak. I think it's pretty clear what you're asking for in the variances before us. I'll just ask, is there anything, sir, that you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this afternoon?
Nothing particular other than to say that it does fall in within redevelopments of similar lots in the area. I feel that it's a sensitive design. It's on a corner, and we've tried to address both streets in a nice way, and I feel that it does fit in to what's proposed and to what's being redeveloped in the area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rubinoff. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Having listened to the applicant and reading the objection, a translation dated July 7th, but subject to revising the site plan, main floor plans, and revising the site plan to demonstrate a minimum 1 meter setback from the close to the proposed driveway to the close edge of the utility pole, which involve variances 6, 8, and 9. I would move approval of this.
Okay, so you're, just to be clear, Mr. Hunt, you're moving approval of the application subject to the transportation services conditions.
Yes.
Thank you. Someone to
correct.
second Mr. Hunt's motion? Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? And motion carries unanimously. Mr. Rubinoff, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to transportation services conditions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 24, 184 Burbank Drive. I have 2 people registered to speak. The agent is Maran Hadari, Heydari. Are you there, sir?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Yes.
Yes, hello. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and member of the committee. My name is Mehran Heydari Alamdari. I'm from PMP Design Group, 1090 Don Mills Road, Unit 506.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask, sir, there's a report on file with your application from City Planning dated the 6th of July, which recommends modifying variances 1, 2, 5, and deleting variance number 3. I just wanted to ask, and deleting variance number 4. I just wanted to ask, did you want to make those modifications to your application?
Yes, please.
Yeah, can we read those into the record then? Let's do that from the beginning then, starting with variance number 1.
Yeah, actually, yeah, this is the revised one that is here. The variance number 1 changing to 8.24 meter.
Hang on, sir. I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, what is on the display is the revised variances. So we have number 1 height variance 8.24 meter, and the number 2 for the
Hang
lot
on, sir.
coverage is
Variance
36.
number 1. What are you proposing to change? What are you proposing to change?
Actually, what is in the monitor right now is the revised one. Is not the original.
Mr. Chair, the changes are already reflected on the public notice. So as long as that is the same, we don't have to go through changes.
Okay, so you see the variances up there? Okay,
Yes.
so you're
yes.
okay. So you're proposing that you've changed variance number 1 for the building height from 8.59 to 8.24 meters. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. For variance number 2, you've changed the lot coverage from 32.5% to 32%.
Yes.
Okay. For variance number 3. For variance number 3, the garage entrance elevation, you're deleting that.
Yes.
Okay. Variance number 4 for the second story rear platform is being deleted. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And variance number 5 for the building height is being reduced from 10.07 meters to 9.72 meters. Is that correct?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is that the extent of the changes? Okay, those 4
Yes,
don't
that's
relate to what's on in the planning report.
These are the variances that are before you. You made the changes to the planning report, from the planning report, before it went out to the public. So the changes are already reflected in the application.
Okay, because this is confusing now. Which should we be going by? The planning report, or Whose are these?
What you see there is what the planning report asked for. That's what the public notice has.
Okay, all right then, all right, as long as we're clear about that, because I'm just going by the planning report here. Okay, thank you, Mr. Pereira. My apologies, committee, those are the four. The application's been revised pursuant to city planning's recommendations, and those are the revised variances up on your screen. Thank you. Okay, is there anything, sir, we have two other persons. We have other people registered to speak here. So if you'd like to give us a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal, your revised proposal.
Yes, thank you. What I need to add to this application, this is the specific location in the Fairbank Drive. So the house is located at the top of the hill, and we have the almost 5 feet higher elevation at the building location on the ground. So it means we have the variance for the building height because we have on the hill, and also the height that we have, it's 8.24. It's almost like the new house with the gable and peak roof. So if you go to the 10-meter bylaw, so we are almost 1.76 meter lower than the peak of the roof in the zoning bylaw, the new zoning bylaw, and is matched with the area and is matched with the approved variances that the same street that we had before. For example, 119 Fairbank Avenue and 261 Fairbank Avenue, we had the same height variance approved in the committee of adjustment. If there is any question, I'm more than happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go to the next person on the list. I have Kalidas Patel. Are you there?
Yes, Chair. I am here,
Yes.
and I have a question.
Sir, can I get your full name and address, please?
Yeah, my name is Kalidas Patel. I'm at 186 Burbank Drive, North York, Ontario, M2K1P4.
Okay, if you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I have a question about the Committee of Adjustment. On item number 1, now, Committee of Adjustment is proposing the building structure height 7.2 meters, and the builder wanted 8.24 meters. So if you see the difference in the height is about 1.04 meters. Now, if you see on item number 3, the maximum permitted building height is 8 meters, and the proposed building height is 9.72 meters. So if you see the difference there is 1.72 meters. So why there is a difference on the item number first is 1.0 meters, and item number 3 is 1.72 meters. So this is my question to the Committee of Adjustment. And another question, I live at this property for about 18 years, and this building is on the south side, and I always enjoy the sun, sky, beautiful nature outside. Now with the too much height, the problem, I cannot see the light because I have a window on my dinetarium, and I have a window in my bedroom. This will be completely covered by this building, and I will not see the sun at all. My living area, my dinette area, and my bedroom area will be completely under dark, and even winter time it will be more darker. So I should get my consideration that the Committee of Adjustment should consider 7.2 meters or 8 meters. But the difference between the height, why it's 1.04 meters difference in the height and another is 1.72 meters, I don't understand.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Go back to Mr. Hadari. Mr. Hadari, you've heard Mr. Patel's comments, if you'd like to reply to them.
Yes, actually, he has a question about the height. I will explain. The height variance number, the height about the new bylaw, 8.24 meter, is the height from the established grade to the highest point of the roof. Yeah, variance number 1, bylaw number 569, 2013. The height measuring from the established grade, that is established grade is exactly the neighbors, the average of the two neighbors on the two sides, north and south. From the highest point of the building, that is 8.24 meter. And as bylaw allowed to have the 10 meter from the established grade for the peak roof and for the slope roof, and the sidewall height up to 7.5 meter. So we are almost the same as the peak roof. It means if we change the roof design to the slope roof, we can go 1.76 meter higher than this number. This design actually is has less negative impact for the sun and for the, and we don't have any extra lengths for the building. So it means we are not going over than the bylaw to covering the sun for the neighbors on 186. And variance number 3, the maximum permitted building height 8 meter, the proposed is 9.72 meter. I explained in my presentation, this variance is from the center of the road that is much lower than the house location, because the Burbank Drive is the very uphill street, and the street is lower than the building location. And we have the technical variance here. So we are not, because if you see the changes between the established grade and the center of the road elevation on the front elevation, drawing number A6, there is 1.48 meter difference between the established grade and center of the road. And this variance and variance number 4 is exactly the technical variance that we have because of the height.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this revised application, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. After listening to Mr. Hedari as well as the other gentleman, I'm of the opinion that staff's recommendations are fair, and staff recommendation has been modified. Variance number 1, number 2, number 5 have been modified as mentioned before. Number 3 and number 4 has been eliminated. And on the basis of that, I find variances are minor and comply with the zoning bylaws. Therefore, I move that this application be approved.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Someone to second that motion? Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? The motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved without condition.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 25, 169 Franklin Avenue. I have two people registered to speak. One is the agent, Victor Guitberg, G-U-I-T-B-E-R-G. Are you there? Victor Guitberg, G-U-I-T-B-E. Yes, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Victor Gidberg. I'm agent for the owner of the house, and I'm an architect.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just wanted to ask, gone through your file, there is a couple of reports listed here. There's a recommended condition from Urban Forestry. There's also a report from City Planning dated the 6th of July, which recommends deleting variance number 5 for the proposed front yard landscaping. And then there's another condition to approval attached to that as well. I just wanted to ask, sir, have you had the opportunity to review that City Planning report?
Yes, absolutely. We discussed this proposal with City Planning, and I understand the nature of this request, and we fully agree with conditions
Sir, could I ask, are you proposing to delete variance number 5?
Yes. Variance number 5 will be deleted. We will comply with front yard landscape requirements.
Okay, so okay, hang on. Let me just see here. You still have, okay, so variance number, your front yard landscape, variance number 5 currently reads the proposed front yard landscaped area is 43.73%. You're proposing to delete that?
Yes.
Okay, so variance
That is
number
correct.
5,
So we will 50%.
variance number 5 is deleted.
Uh-huh.
And are there any other changes?
No, there's no other changes, but we also read our urban forestry report, and we will be working with, we already discussed this report with gentleman who wrote it, and we will work with urban forestry on keeping this tree. So we will modify the shape of our driveway so the tree in question will be protected.
Okay, thank you. Now there's another person registered to speak, sir, so if you'd like to give the committee a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal.
Yes, sir. So we are proposing to build two-story new dwelling with integral garage, and there's a number of variances we're asking for. I just go one by one. So variance number 1 is a small increase in the building length. So this, if you look at the site plan, this increase, the small bump out area at the rear wall contributes to the length increase, not the entire building. Variance number 2, reduction in side yard setback to 0.9 meters. Again, this applicable just to the small portion of the building, not the majority of the wall setback in excess of minimum permitted. It's 1.5 meters. Variance number 3 is small increase in building height, 22 centimeters. And variance number 4 is small increase in lot coverage, both basically in line with what was approved for the area in previous applications. And then we have 2 variances under old North York bylaw. So those 2 variances are mostly due to the fact that crown of the road from which the height is measured under old North York bylaw is much lower than established grade. So if you look at topography of the lot, established grade is 4 feet or 1.2 meters above crown of the road. So that's why we needed this variance for under old bylaw. But if you look at our first floor elevation under new bylaw, it's much less than maximum permitted. So it's maximum is 1.2 meters, and we only have half of it, 66 centimeters. So in fact, this variance is technical in nature, I think, because it's just because of the topography of the lot. Yeah, so then basically that concludes my brief presentation, and if you have any questions, I will be more than glad to answer.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list, Peter or Roseanne Kotzer, K-O-T-Z-E-R. Are you there?
Yes.
Yes, hello. Can I get your full name and address, please?
It's Peter Kotzer, K-O-T-Z-E-R, 171 Franklin Avenue.
Okay, thank you. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application.
Well, my thoughts are if there's certain bylaws that we're supposed to build by, I don't understand why he wants to go higher and further and encroaching further onto our properties and the particularly the front with, I know when people start to make bigger driveways, the snow ends up on the street or on our lawn because they have a service and then they don't have any place to put it and it ends up on our properties. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go back to the agents. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, you heard the last speaker. If you'd like to make some comments on his comments.
Yes, yes. Basically, I think probably our application was misinterpreted by previous speaker because we are not increasing the size of the driveway. Actually, our driveway is undersized. It's less than maximum permitted 6 meters in the bylaw, and it will be even smaller because we have to reduce, like sort of bottleneck this driveway at the entrance to protect the tree. So the size of the driveway eventually will be even smaller than you can see on the screen right now. Yeah, and the only relative variance for the soft yard front yard landscape was eliminated. So basically, we in compliance with anything related to the driveway and front yard.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this revised application, please? Please note that variance number 5, which relates to the proposed front yard landscaping, is 43.73%. That has been deleted, so they're no longer requesting that variance. So variance number 5 is deleted. So if I could get a motion on the revised application, please. Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the proposal as amended meets the intents of the zoning bylaws, and I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application with the revision that variance number 5 is to be deleted, and also make it subject to the condition that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing submitted to the Committee of Adjustment and attached as attachment 1 to the planning staff report dated July the 6th, 2022, and also subject to forestry condition.
Thank you, Mr. Kidd. Someone to second that motion? Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your revised application has been unanimously approved, subject to city planning and urban forestry conditions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now on item number 26, 30 Morewood Crescent. I have one person registered to speak. That's Randall Dickey. Are you there, sir?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of committee. My name is Randall Dickey. I'm the authorized agent for the property owner. My address is 446-1111 Davis Drive in Newmarket.
Great, thank you very much, sir. I've gone through your file. I note there are no staff comments or conditions attached to your application. I just wanted to ask, it's pretty clear what you're asking for in your application. Is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material that we have before us this afternoon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to be brief, the proposal to construct the new two-story detached dwelling requires 6 variances to the new bylaw and 2 to the old. I believe that all those variances are supportable. Slight increase in coverage, slight reductions in side yard setbacks. I would note that with respect to side yard setbacks, on the east side, we are actually maintaining the current existing side yard setback that currently exists on the site of 1.5 meters. So we're matching what exists on the east side. On the west side, we are actually increasing the current side yard setback. Nonetheless, we're still asking for variances for side yard setback reductions. I think all in all, these variances are supportable. I feel that the proposal is a good fit for the neighborhood, and it's compatible with other recent dwellings in the area. And as you noted, Mr. Chair, there's no staff reports or any issues raised by any department I'm aware of, so I would ask that committee grant these variances, and of course, I'd be pleased to try to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Dickey, there's a letter of objection from one of your direct neighbors to, I'm not sure which side it is, but it's number 28. And they're objecting to the side yards in general. I know that one of them you're sort of meeting, you've given some explanations around that, but can you tell me which side is number 28? Which variance would that be closely associated with?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. 28 is to the west. And so that would be tied specifically to variance number 3, I believe. And if you were to look at the site plan or the survey that has been submitted with the file, as I noted, that our number 30 current side yard setback is 1.3. So our proposal actually increases the current side yard setback. And I would also note that number 28, the abutting property owner to the west, they have a recent two-story house, and they have a side yard setback of 1.07 meters. So they have a substantially less side yard setback than what we are proposing. So nonetheless, I think the 1.5 meters along the west side is more than sufficient for access, light and air circulation, and all those reasons why side yard setbacks exist. I hope that answers the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, yes.
Thank you. Does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, there is no recommendation from the staff, and I find all these 8 variances as minor variances complying the zoning bylaws. So therefore, I move this application be approved.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Someone to second that? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? The motion carries unanimously. Mr. Dickey, your application has been approved without condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Now on item number 27, 116 Deloraine Avenue, I have the agent, Alareza Saeed. Are you there?
Yes.
Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Ali Reza Saeed. Our office is 6021 Yonge Street, Suite 1007, Toronto. I'm the agent from 116 Deloraine Avenue to explain about the minor variances that we applied.
Okay, thank you, sir. I've gone through your file. I note that there's a recommended condition from Urban Forestry. There's also a 12 July 22 email from City Planning that follows up to their 11th of July report, which has no objections to your application, I guess. But we do have 2 other persons registered to speak, sir. So if you'd like to give the committee a presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal. And I'd also ask that you go through, you did make some changes in according to city planning requests. So if you could detail those as well.
Yes, sure. Regarding item number 3, so that is the soft landscaping based off the planning advice and our discussion. I know the existing hard landscaping that there already is more than 50%, but we are going to remove the whole item number 3 and accept the planning advice and keep it over 50%.
Okay, so sir, if I could just clarify, you're proposing to delete variance
Removing
number
item
3?
number 3. Yes.
Okay, so variance number 3 is deleted. Are there any other changes?
No, everything else is already completely based off the agreement with planning staff as well. There is no changes happening.
Okay, so
I saw the letter of objection.
Sir, if you'd like to give us a presentation on the 3, on what you see as the merits of your 3 remaining variances, 1, 2, and 4?
Yes, sure. For item number 1, that's regarding the height of the exterior wall. That is only on the front of the building. So by code, by zoning bylaw, we need to go 7.5 meter. but only the facade is going up to 8.53 meters. And number two is the density, that our lot is much smaller than the other lots in that area. That's the reason we apply for a little bit more density to get the result for the bedrooms that we required for that property. That is very common on that neighborhood. And item number four, our lot is 1 feet smaller than regular bylaw requirement. So that's the reason we apply for item number four, that is more technical. So our lot is 0.3 smaller than the lot that is required beyond the, on that neighbors. So that's briefly explanation of the what's we apply for the minor variances, and I believe now is completely is matched with the minors.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I note that in the file, we have a letter from one of the, well, from the neighbor to the north that they're concerned about the right-of-way in between the two houses. Do you intend to keep the portion of the right-of-way in front of your property as soft landscaping or hard landscaping?
Yes, we keeping everything. If you see the site plan that we provided, yours is the old one. We put in the new one, the new portion of the soft landscaping in our side. So is nothing changed for their right of way at all. And we keep it the whole right of way for them for any access that they want for the backyard.
But the portion of the right of way that's at the front of your property.
Yes, this is the new one.
Is it harder or soft landscaping?
The portion of their right of way is the hard landscaping.
The portion of their right of way over your property, is that harder soft landscaping?
If you see the dot part in the front side, that dot shows that we are soft landscape.
Hang on, Mr. Kidd wants to know that with respect to that mutual right-of-way that's in favor of your neighbor, is it, will it remain hard surface?
Yes.
Okay, does that clear that up, Mr. Kidd?
So they can access
he
to the back.
He just told me that it was soft landscaping before you asked him, you know?
No, if you see now in the picture that now showing in the driveway,
yes,
the grass area is started from our wall property line to our driveway. So yes, that area that we add on that part as a soft landscaping to match with the 50% requirement of the zoning bylaw.
No, I understand. You're getting 50% soft landscaping by sodding the neighbor's driveway, which
No. The sodding is after our wall. So the right of way starts after our grass. So it's not part of the right of way at all.
The area to the above the proposed driveway is shown on your plan as dotted. Is that soft landscaping or hard landscaping?
Yes. You see the dark gray one?
Yeah.
That's a soft. No, that's dark gray is a soft landscape.
That's his right of way.
Yeah, but the new, you see our wall, you see the wall extension. That wall is the start of their right of way. It's starting from that line. They right of way start. You know what I mean? Because the right of way is a start from. You see the 3 foot 4 inches. That part of our right of way. Yes, this side. This is the 3 foot 4 inches of the right of way of our property as a favor of them to go to back.
And it's remaining hard landscaping, correct?
Hard landscaping, yes.
And it's remaining hard landscaping to the curb line of the street.
Exactly.
Okay.
That,
So
the area.
they have, yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, the area that you're showing as dotted.
Yeah.
Immediately above the driveway.
Yeah.
Is their right of way over your property, and you're telling me that that's soft landscaping, is that correct?
The grade area, sir, the grade area that Mr. Kidd refers to, the narrow grade area that's on the north side of the driveway. That's soft landscaping, correct?
The dark gray area, the small 1.5 feet gray area that shows the grass, that's the only landscaping that is in our side, is not in the right-of-way side.
Okay, all right.
That part of our paving driveway. Yes, this one. Yes, exactly.
And you're saying that took you up to, it makes such a difference that it goes from 20% soft landscaping to 50% landscaping, that it doesn't.
No, we change it in the other side as well. So we keep 50% and by zoning by law, and we are not touching anything from their right of way at all. So they don't have any garage on the back, but maybe they want to use it for future, so they can use it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? Okay, thank you. We'll go to the next person on the list. I have a John.
I have a question.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is about the grade. Vehicle entrance is lower at main wall entrance with the street level grade and from the lot frontage by 1 foot. And this is not minor. This is quite concerning.
Sorry, you're talking about the reverse driveway?
Yeah.
We don't have any reverse driveway.
You don't have?
No, reverse driveway, that means the slope is going down to the garage, but it is not. If you
Okay,
go to,
thank you.
Yeah, we are higher than that. No.
Any further questions? Okay, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a John Simonton. Are you there? John Simonton, are you there?
John, you're unmuted.
Mr. Simonton, are you there? One more time. Mr. Simonton, are you there? Okay, Mr. Chu, we'll go to the next person on the list. I have Geraldine Ann McDonald.
Geraldine, you're unmuted.
Geraldine McDonald, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you give us your full name and address, please?
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Geraldine Jody MacDonald, and I live at 120 Deloraine Avenue, Toronto M5M 2A9.
Okay, if you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application?
Yes.
If you can give us your thoughts on this application.
Okay. My husband and I lived here for 36 years, and we share a mutual driveway with 116. So I have the following objections. Variance number 4, the vehicle entrance. I object to this because the owner has indicated his intention to move the west wall of his new house into the mutual driveway, 2 or 3 inches. And that is not acceptable. The mutual driveway needs to stay the same width after the new house is built as it is before and has been for 100 years. This includes any space taken up by any siding or other materials adhering to the new build. This is 2.133 meters. I do believe it's possible for them to build a house that doesn't go into the mutual driveway, but that is not what they're saying they're going to do. So please reject this variance. Variance number 2, the maximum floor space index is being asked to be increased from 0.6, which is allowed, to 0.68 times the area of the lot. I'm objecting to this because, again, to the owner is indicated they're going to build the west wall of the new house and will be encroaching upon the mutual driveway. So if this happens, then that will drastically reduce the ability of me to get a car down the mutual driveway. Please take a look at the pictures that I submitted where my daughter's trying to get her car down the driveway. Can you see the pictures?
Yes, we have them.
Okay. So the pictures show, no, those aren't them. My pictures aren't there yet. They're at the very bottom of both of my, yeah, okay, so here you see how narrow it is, and you could keep on going. But there's that, there she is trying to bring her car down the driveway. And you have a couple more shots to show you her mirror has to be, her side view mirrors have to be put down to get down the driveway. It's that tight, and she doesn't have a big car. And she's moving back home. So if a new house is allowed to expand, it would be a major variance if I lost access to my mutual driveway. And there's no point in being able to build a garage at the back if you can't get a car down the mutual driveway. And yes, my 1975 survey does show there was a garage there at one point, and a future owner might want to put up a garage, but only if they can get down the mutual driveway. So as well as losing a lot of sunlight from my kitchen window, which looks my east side of my house kitchen window, and my backyard will no longer be nearly as private because their deck will be so far back. So they would definitely need to agree to putting up a privacy fence because their deck would be in the middle of my backyard. So I don't feel that this should be approved, this variance. I don't feel that we are clear that we need to have at the end of the build, a 2.133 meter driveway still. And I don't feel that is the situation at all. You can see the request to go, which was not indicated as a variance, but in their plans, it's to change from a 0.9 to 0.6. Anyway, so I am asking that you reject both of these variances today until they can show a plan where there is clearly going to be protection for the mutual driveway, real protection.
Okay, so thank you, madam. You understand, of course, it's not the city's responsibility to maintain that mutual right-of-way. That's between the two property owners.
Yes,
Okay,
but I don't think we should be expanding. Yeah.
That's an issue that you'd have to discuss with your lawyer. It's not something the committee gets involved in. Technically, there's a mutual right-of-way. There's no side yard variance requested here. There's no variance before the committee. We'll ask
Yes, but
we will ask the applicant about the mutual right-of-way issue. But again, it's not something that's within the committee, the city's purview. That's a legal issue between you and your neighbor.
Well, I guess, but last time they did ask for that variance and it was rejected. So this time they just didn't ask.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have John Simonton. Mr. Simonton, are you there? Sir, we're getting feedback from you. You have multiple devices tuned into the same channel. Can you start turning them off and just use your telephone?
Mr. Chair, I believe he's trying to call back in right now.
Okay. Mr. Simonton, are you there? Mr. Simonton, can you hang up and try calling back?
Okay, John, you can speak.
Mr. Simonton, are you there?
Finally, sorry. John Simonton, 131 Deloraine Avenue.
Okay, thank you, sir. Can I get your full name and address, please?
John Simonton, 131 Deloraine Avenue.
Okay, thank you, sir. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application?
I can't hear you properly.
John, go ahead and speak.
Okay, I just wanted to speak briefly to the character of the potential owner who has owned this house for a long time now and seems to be unable to cut grass or shovel snow. The backyard is a disaster area. And I firmly believe these people are in the business of buying and selling houses to just maximize profits, thereby disrupting the neighborhood. There's hidden ownership that I understand it's ending in BC. I hope it ends in Ontario. So I Googled one of the submissions shows the owner is Ali Jalali, company officer, 207 Florence Avenue. I Googled 207 Florence Avenue. The street view is blurred. Right away, I figured, well, something's fishy. I go check out the property. There's a beautiful big new house on it, maybe a couple years old, and a for sale sign on the property. I'd like to know what these people are up to, and we don't need people like that in our neighborhood. It won't be welcome. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? No, there being none. Thank you. We'll go back to Mr. Said. Are you there, sir?
So I want to explain.
Mr. Said, are you, before you start,
Yes.
Seems to be some discrepancy about this mutual right-of-way. Is your proposed building encroaching into the mutual right-of-way?
Not at all. We're not doing anything in the proper and mutual driveway at all. In our proposal, we keep property completely rid of that. And I explained to the neighbors, we are not touching any inch of the driveway and the mutual driveway at all, because we don't want to be involved in any law or suing or any other things. So our property at the end of the project, we completely on the border of the legal mutual driveway. So we are not touching anything from their mutual driveway at all. So they can keep it, they can use it, they can do whatever they want for the access to the back without any problem. Same as before. We keep it same as before completely. So now that for now, if you see many other stuff in the existing houses, that in the new house they don't have that one. So it's much easier access from the existing situation that they have it from now. So we promise it in the drawing show up, and we keep it maintained for them for the all time after the construction. So definitely we are not touching that at all. But from privacy fence that they ask, definitely we can help, and we can put privacy deck for the west side of our deck to make more privacy for the neighbor. They are very such nice people there, and I was very sorry that I heard that the husband is gone. So there are very such people, and my client wants to live there. Definitely we can put the fence there to keep them private and secure for the all summertime. No problem. So that's the promise that we can do. She mentioned about item 4. I think this is misunderstanding. This is not our driveway. This is our lot size on the frontage. For 7.6 meters, it was originally the lot size that we can go and apply for by law. But our lot is smaller. We're going 7.3 meters of our lot. So this is not affect to the driveway at all. So that's mistake happen and misunderstanding happen of the interpretation of the item number 4.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any
No
questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this revised application? Please note that variance number 3 relating to front yard landscaping has been eliminated, so we're only dealing with 3 variances, 1, 2, and 4. So if I could get a motion on the revised application, please. Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I accept the explanation from the agent. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the proposal as amended. Amended such that variance number 3 is deleted and subject to forestry condition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kidd. Someone to second that? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Mr. Hunt, are you in favor? Mr. Hunt, are you in favor of Mr. Kidd's motion? No, okay. So Mr. Hunt dissenting. Yeah. So, Mr. Hunt, I need you to put your hand up in dissent. Thank you. Sir, your application has been approved subject to urban forestry conditions with Mr. Hunt dissenting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Item number 28, 483 Glencairn Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That's Maria Denegri. Are you there?
Can you hear me okay?
Maria Denegri, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Great. My name's Maria Denegri of Denegri Besai Studio. The studio is located at 1088 Bathurst Street, and I'm the agent for 483 Glencairn Avenue.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask, Madam, I've gone through your file. I note that we have no other persons registered to speak. There are no staff comments or conditions attached to your file. I just wanted to ask, Madam, it's pretty clear what you're asking for in the 4 variances we have before us. Is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this afternoon?
No, I just wanted to make sure that the committee had a chance to review the cover letter. I think the cover letter was very succinct in actually explaining the 4 variances. And it was submitted within the timeline. So if they've had a chance to review that, then I think it's, as you say, Mr. Chair, pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Given that there are no department comments or concerns and there is obvious neighborhood support, I would move approval of this application.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Someone to second that? Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Madam, your application's been unanimously approved without condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Now on item number 29, which is 38 Buckingham Avenue. I have 3 people registered to speak. The agent is Lauren Rose. Are you there, Mr. Rose?
Yes, I am.
Yes, Mr. Rose, can I get your full name and address, please?
Lauren Rose, 388 Spadina Road. I'm the architect and agent.
Great, thank you, sir. I have gone through your file. We also have, I note there's a couple of reports here. There's a report from City Planning dated the 5th of July, which recommends modifying variance number 8 and variance number 11. There's also a 7th of July Transportation Services report, which requests deferral to revise drawings and show parking stall width, which could reasonably be made a condition to approval. I just wanted to ask, sir, have you had the opportunity to review those reports?
Yes, I have, and I can address them.
Okay, I was going to ask, sir, are there any modifications to your application that you'd like to make before you start your presentation?
Yes, I do. I'm going to agree with the recommendations of staff. So that would be removing of, bringing down variance 8.
Okay.
Number 8 to 11 meters.
Okay, hang on just a moment. Variance number 8 right now currently reads the proposed height of the building structure is 11.16 meters. And you're proposing to change that to?
11 as requested by planning.
Okay, and
then variance 11.
Okay, let's just go to that. Variance 11, the proposed parking spaces will have a width of 2.62, no, pardon me.
No,
Proposed building
is the
height is
height under the old
11.3.
bylaw.
The proposed building height is 11.35 meters under the old City of Toronto bylaw.
Should now read 11.25.
Okay, and that's being reduced to 11.25. Okay, 11.20?
25.
11.25, okay. If you could, are there any other changes?
No, there are not.
Okay, if you'd like to give the committee a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal?
Sure. If staff can put up the site plan, it's probably best. So I will note that variance 1, 2, 4, and 5 all have to deal with side yard setbacks. Unfortunately, once you get approved for a side yard setback, you still need it for canopies and decks. So there's lots of variances for that. So variances 1 and 2, as I say, if you get the approval for the side yard setbacks, it's just for the deck and the canopy in the front. As for variance 3, the minimum required front yard setback is 7.74. Proposed front yard setback is 6.94. That is to the bump out in the middle, which is only on the second floor. You will note that the neighbor's house to the east is at 7.48, and our main wall of our house is at 7.55. We're not aware of any objections from the adjacent neighbors. Variance 4, for the side yard setback on the west side, we're asking for 0.91. And if this committee would like, I'm happy for you to state that it's only for the first 10 meters, or you can hold us substantially in accordance with the plan as submitted, because we step back to 1.2 meters after that. You'll note that it's matching the existing setback on the west side, and on the east side we've increased the side yard setback with the new development. You'll also note that the adjacent neighbors are 0.99 meters on the east side, and they are 0.96, 0.96 on the east and 0.99 on the west, so very similar. But we are smaller side yard setbacks than existing. That was number 5. Number 6, so the length of the dwelling, that's only for the second floor, and we're off by 0.07. I probably should have fixed that, but I rounded up to 56 feet rather than 55 feet 9 inches, which is what 17 meters is. Floor space index 0.58, not out of keeping with what's in the area as noted by the area planner. I don't believe there's objections to that. I will also note that in North York, which is very close, the line moves around, you're allowed 0.7% under the bylaw because it's 0.35% just for coverage. Exterior stairs providing pedestrian entrance. This is on every application. I rarely have stairs that are only 2 meters wide. I don't understand variance 10. I've never seen it before. We do lots of houses like this, and I will disagree and have disagreed with staff. I have a lift, and they say that the posts for the lift encroach on the required width of the garage. However, when the lift is down, there is no encroachment, so there is no chance that I do not have the required width for parking, but they refuse to remove it. So I don't know what to say about that. We absolutely have the proper width for parking of a car here, so I can't make zoning change it. And I've already discussed number 11 with you. There's a small reduction. I can answer any other questions or respond to the other speakers.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just to be clear, the garage you're proposing, it has I guess it's 2 cars, but one of it's is being done by virtue of a lift. Is that correct?
Yes. So when the lift is down, I absolutely have more than 3.2 meters. But I said that to the examiner, and he refused to move it. I do many houses with car lifts, and I've never seen this variance before. Yeah. So I said I'll leave it.
I understand what you're talking about, but when the person drives in at grade, he can still open the door and get out, correct? There's not an obstruction from the lift that prevents him from doing that.
There's no obstruction to the legal parking spot. Okay. No way, no how.
Okay, terrific, thank you.
And I believe that's what transportation was looking at too, so I don't know what to say about that.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Rose, I have a very simple question, just for my own understanding. I'm referring to variance number 10. Transport Services has asked in their report to defer this particular variation for the width discussion. Did you have any discussion about it?
I did not. I just addressed that. I disagree with the variance, but I can't say anything about it. There is no way transportation, if they actually looked at the drawings, would disagree with this. They would probably agree that I have the required 3.2 meters. So I'm not agreeing to
Sir,
deferral for something.
Mr. Rose, I don't want to get into an overlong discussion on this, but did they measure the 2.62 meters? Is that the distance between the posts on the lift?
Yes, only when the lift is up in the air. So I don't get it. I've never seen this before. I do many houses with lifts.
Yeah, I understand the lift of it, but it doesn't obstruct. It doesn't obstruct access through the car doors at grade, correct?
Not at all.
Okay, thank you.
But that's, the examiner says unobstructed. I don't know, but I do have an unobstructed spot when the lift is down, which is probably most of the time.
Yeah, I understand.
But he wouldn't budge on it.
All right.
So I'll take my chances and argue that point with management.
All right. Good luck. Does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Marilyn Orr. Are you there? Marilyn Orr?
Marilyn, you're unmuted.
Marilyn Orr, are you there?
Yeah.
Ms. Orr, can you hear us?
Marilyn, please refrain from touching the unmute button. I will unmute you.
Ms. Orr, are you there?
Hi, yes, I am.
Yes. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, my name's Marilyn Orr, and I live at 42 Buckingham Avenue, so I'm on the east side of this project. After listening to the speaker, I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have Lutz Fulgraf. Are you there? Mr. Fulgraf, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you now. Sorry, you just disappeared. My name is Lutz Vorgraf. I'm speaking for the Lawrence Park Ratepayers Association. The address is 3219 Young
Okay, thank you,
Street.
sir. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application.
Okay. Um, uh, I, I, I don't really have any big objections, and I had hoped that I had none because the applicant started out saying that he would comply with the staff report, but then said that on the variance number 11, he cannot do 11.20, but wants to have a variance of 11.25 for the maximum height of the building. It's not a hell of a lot of a difference, but it would be nice if the applicant could comply with the staff report recommendation.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go back to Mr. Rose. Mr. Rose, are you there?
Yes, I am, and I will comply with 11.20.
Yes, Mr. Rose. Yeah, just a question about variance number 11. Are you proposing 11.25 or 11.20?
I was proposing 11.25 because I wanted to make sure, because the old bylaw is calculated differently, but I'll make it work with 11.2. I don't want to cause any problems. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, so
you can change it to 11.
So you're going to change it from 11.25 to 11.20?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I think that's the only other comment. Do you have anything to add on anything Mr. Fulgraf had to say?
No, it looks like there's community support, which is fantastic. Planning support. I think it's one of the smaller houses we've done in Lawrence Park, and I think it meets the four tests of the Planning Act.
Okay, thank you. We have just for committee, if we can take it into committee for a motion. Just to be clear, we have a revised application, variance number 8, has been changed from 11.16 meters to, let me just read it out here. The proposed building height is 11.16 meters. That's been reduced to 11 meters. And variance number 11, the maximum building height is 11.35 meters under the old City of Toronto bylaw. That has been reduced to 11.20 meters. So if I could get a motion on this revised application, please. Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I thought that this would have probably been a little bit more difficult, but I think that there is some truth to this getting some support in the neighborhood. And the fact that the changes made to adapt to the staff report does sit well with me. So I'm going to make a motion to approve this application with the changes that you've already stated for variances 8 and 11. As well as I'm satisfied with the explanations provided by transport. So I think that that's about the explanations against what transport had indicated. I think it's reasonable to accept this application. So I'm going to put forward a motion for that and the changes that have already been shared here today for variances 8 and 11. That's my motion.
Sankar. Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second that? Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously, sir. Your revised application has been unanimously approved without condition. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Item number 30. I think this might be a good time to take a 5-minute break. We'll come back. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, committee's back in session. We're now on item number 30, 32 Hoyle Avenue. I have 6 people registered to speak. The agent is Glenn Rubinoff. Mr. Rubinoff, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
Mr. Rubinoff, thank you. Could I again get your full name and address, please?
Yeah, it's Glenn Rubinoff, Rubinoff Design, 18 Gloucester Lane, Toronto.
Thank you, sir. Just going through your file, I note that we have a recommended condition from urban forestry. There's a city planning report dated the 5th of July, which has no objections to your application, subject to a condition. I know that we have a number of other people here registered to speak, sir, so if you could give the committee a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal.
Sure, thank you very much. I'm glad you brought up the map of the area up on the screen there. If you could go into where the site is, it's actually the top, where all those conglomeration of homes with brown, right in the middle there, yeah. That is, the proposed home is in the pink there, and the other ones around it, surrounding it, are all homes with integral garages. So this is one of those facts where the planning department had looked at this, and that's why they have no objections to the proposed integral garage, because it is a fairly consistent pattern on this street. As far as the variances for things like density and height and other setbacks, I think we're following a fairly consistent pattern of redevelopment in the area. Again, planning, their response was that they only commented on the wall height, and just to clarify for the wall height, that the actual variance is related to one window on the side which projects above the eaves, and that's really where the variance is primarily stemming from. So that's why they're in their report, they're of the opinion that the additional height is minor, because we primarily are complying with the main wall height. Anyways, that's on planning. As far as redevelopment in the area, I feel that what we have before you with the variances are all consistent with the pattern of redevelopment on this street in particular and in the area. So I'll leave it there, and I'll be available for any questions from yourself or from after the other speakers speak.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rubinoff. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have an Al Keevy. Are you there, sir?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Can I get your full name and address, please?
My name is Al Keevy. I live at 427 Belsize Drive. I'm here to represent South Eglinton Davisville and Residents Association today.
Okay, thank you, sir. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for putting up my slide. I appreciate that a great deal. I was very curious. Glenn was very happy, Mr. Rubinoff was very happy to see the map shown, and I was also very happy to see the map shown. The Davisville bylaw was designed very purposefully to cure a problem, and the problem it was to cure is aptly demonstrated in the map. The problem that is curing is essentially large overbuilt tall buildings with the presence of an integral garage. So showing the problem is not necessarily saying that problem should continue. What we really should be focusing on today is the purpose and intent of the Davisville bylaw. I'll talk about that in a minute or so. Subject property is located on Hoyle Street. As you can see, it's wedged between a relatively recent new build of, I think, built 18 years ago, and a vintage bungalow to the north. Next slide, please. The issue number one is the depth of the dwelling. The official plan directs that all new developments fit with nearby residential properties. It's clearly noticed from this aerial view that most of the nearby residential properties, which are by and large, a lot of new builds with some vintage homes pretty much come in at the designated depth of 17 meters. The applicant is asking for 18.3 meters in this particular case. So this application clearly fails the test. It fails the official plan test. It fails the bylaw. It fails the desirability test. We'll hear from some neighbors complaining about the issue. It fails the minor variance test, both in terms of metric and the adverse impact. Next slide, please. This slide shows a property built at 46 Banff, roughly the same size and dimensions of the proposed dwelling. What you see is sidewall height variances are often requested when mansard roofs are proposed. One of the aspects of sidewall is they actually accentuate the height and mass and scale of the dwelling. I think this is aptly demonstrated in this particular case. So this application again fails the OP test, the bylaw test, the desirability test. Clearly neither minor in terms of metric and adverse impact. I'd like to just focus on this for a second. One of the problems, and I spoke with a neighbor who lives in the adjacent property to the south, the small bungalow, as you can see it down there. She's continued over the last 2 years to have very significant problems with ice damming problems as a result of the proximity of the building and the particular roof slope on the mansard style roofs. This seems to be a problem with mansard roofs. It's not evidence unless the adjacent property is close by the subject property. Next slide, please. As you can see here, the applicant is proposing that the eaves should be set back from the property line. Practically, it's almost on the property line by my view of it. And if it exceeds the property line, we have a condition of vertical trespassing as well. This condition is the one I spoke about at 46 Banff, where the slope of the roof and the proximity of the property to the property line creates a condition where ice slabs are raining on the subject property, either on the mutual driveway or in the most adverse condition on the roof and the chimneys and eaves trough of the nearby property. Next slide, please. The issue number 4 is integral garages are not permitted by the bylaw. We spent some considerable time, and I have an appendix that describes it in detail. The applicant must demonstrate to the Committee of Adjustment that the application meets the purpose and intent of the bylaw. I've not heard that today. I've seen a map and pictures of a lot of houses that have integral garages. The applicant must bring forward in front of the panel that the proposed application has been considered with the purpose and intent of the bylaw. The purpose and intent of the bylaw is described in 13 criteria. I've heard no mention of that criteria. I'm not certain that the applicant has considered any of these aspects. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time today.
Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go to the next person on the list. I have Susan Jacobson. Are you there? Susan Jacobson. Hello? Yes, hello. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Hi, yes, it's Susan Jacobson, 30 Hoyle Avenue, 2X6.
Thank you. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name, as I've stated, is Susan Jacobson, and I'm the owner of 30 Hoyle, which is the house immediately to the south of 32. I've resided here for the last 12 years and have immensely enjoyed the character of the neighborhood and the beauty of my home, including the lovely private backyard and deck space. I'd like to express how specifically the requested variances dealing with the increase of depth and height of 32 Hoyle will directly impact the enjoyment of my property. My first concern, and most disruptive to the enjoyment of my home, is the requested increase of depth of the property to 18.3 1.3 meters, which is an increase of 1.3 meters more than permitted. And I believe that's variance number 5. So let me just explain briefly this to you. So allowing the increase of 1.3 meters in depth combined with the proposed increased sidewall height will greatly diminish daylight that currently reaches a portion of my backyard deck from the north, as well as light coming into the windows on the north back side of my house, specifically my family room and master bathroom. It's also aesthetically unappealing to be looking at an unsightly tall wall to the north when I'm on my deck. Secondly, the increased depth and height of the wall jetting out also impedes upon my view to the north from my backyard deck, where I've enjoyed a beautiful view of trees and skies for the last 12 years. This greatly changes the overall feel and ambiance of my outdoor experience, particularly since the imposing wall is so close to my property. So in summary, I oppose both of those variances as they disrupt the overall enjoyment of my home. My second concern has to do with variance number 4, which is the requested increase of height of the sidewalls facing my lot line from 7.0 meters to the requested 8.53. So given that the two homes are so close together, the requested increase of the external wall facing my lot line is significant and very imposing, and it would accentuate the height, mass, and scale of the house in comparison to the character of my own home and the immediate neighbors. In addition to the imposing look, I'm also concerned with the height of the roof slope, along with the inside of the home, which again, as Mr. Keevy had mentioned, may allow water, snow, and leaves to fall on and fill my gutters. So in closing, I just want to say, as we all know, the trend over the last number of years has been to build larger homes on smaller lots to maximize square footage and increase profit margins in established Midtown Toronto neighborhoods such as ours. However, this should not be done at the expense of the immediate next door neighbors' enjoyment of their property, as we're the ones who will feel the lasting impact of these decisions the most. We have a very strong, close-knit community of owners on Hoyle, many of who have written letters of opposition expressing their concerns with the requested variances of 32. Over the last number of years, our community involvement on Hoyle has gotten even stronger as we witness builders coming into our neighborhood, creating monster homes on smaller lots. I just want to give you a recent example. Approximately 2 years ago, when the builder of 31 Hoyle requested a similar variance for increased depth of a new build, which would have resulted in the new home extending beyond the back of the two existing homes on either side, that variance was eventually denied, and the footprint size of that home right across the street from 32 Hoyle is now consistent with its immediate neighbors and the other homes on the street. My own home, which was built in 2006, is on a similar size lot as 32, and it also had a small bungalow on the lot. But the builder managed to build a beautiful home that's height and depth are in keeping with the footprint, scale, and character of our neighborhood. I would like to respectfully request that the committee adhere to the bylaws in place and deny these variances. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Lauren Torben. Are you there?
Mr. Chair, Lauren is not on the call.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the next person on the list. Rob King, are you there?
Mr. Chair, Rob is not on the call.
Okay, thank you. Go to the next person on the list. I have James Dom, D-O-M-M. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yes, can I get your full name and address, please?
James Dom, 34 Hoyle Avenue, M4S2X6.
Okay, thank you. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application?
Yep. I'm the owner of 34 Hoyle Avenue, a single-story bungalow which abuts the proposed residence to the north. At present, by the way, there are 11 such bungalows on Hoyle Avenue, which is short one block, which runs between Eglinton south to Sedan. 11 bungalows existing today. My wife and I have lived at 34 Hoyle for the past 25 years and have thoroughly enjoyed being part of the Hoyle Avenue community. I am speaking today not only on behalf of my wife and myself as senior citizens, but also on behalf of the extended family who fully intend to retain and occupy our home as it stands for many years to come. I am surprised and very disappointed that to date, neither the owners of 32 Hoyle nor the agent, Mr. Rubinoff, have attempted to contact me regarding the proposed residence and the variances that they are requesting. Consequently, with respect, I must object to several of the 9 variances requested. Many of these have been mentioned by Susan Jacobson and Al Kiwi, but I will review them very briefly. They are outlined as well in my written proposal very precisely. First of all, the height. The 2 heights mentioned in items 3 and 9 on the application are 5.6% and 7.3% over the permitted maximum height of 9 meters. Secondly, as Susan reiterated, the side exterior main wall, item 4, is 21.9% over the permitted height of 7 meters. I certainly do not consider 21.9% over to be minor in nature. Also, as Susan mentioned, the depth, which is 7.6 in excess of the 17.4 meters, and she very precisely outlined what that does by not lining up with the rear walls of the adjacent buildings and impeding the view. I might also mention item 7, the roof eaves on my property are 0.14 meters are proposed from my lot line versus the bylaw limit of 0.3 meters. Now, you may think this is trivial, but in this part of section of the GTA, where houses are close proximity, I must protect my property, and in my case, every centimeter is significant. The result of these 5 variances, which I've mentioned, will substantially reduce the amount of daylight entering the south side of my home. Our south side has 4 windows, which provide a major portion of the interior light for all of our entire residence. If approved, these residences will exacerbate the already reduced daylight availability problem and the view problem, putting my residence as a virtual, darkened, and clandestine-induced tunnel environment. Consequently, I request that the variances discussed be rejected. My home has been in character with the neighborhood for over 8 decades, and I feel it deserves appropriate consideration for continuing to provide adequate and comfortable living in this modern age. Mr. Chairman, I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go back to Mr. Rubinoff. Mr. Rubinoff, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Rubinoff, you've heard the comments from the previous speaker. If you'd like to reply to them, please.
Sure, be happy to. So with regards to, I guess the neighbor to the south of us, the neighbor to the south has an integral garage, and the wall heights are pretty much equivalent, if not a little bit higher than what we're proposing. Her house was built prior to this bylaw, the wall height bylaw. But to be perfectly clear, some of the topics that she was bringing up and talking about in her description of the variances that we're requesting are no different and are related to a massing very similar to what she currently enjoys. With regards to the light, the concern about light, she's to the south, we are to the north, just with regards to that. There's a distance of about 4'9" between the 2 homes. So we're not right up against her in any way. And in fact, I don't think she gets a lot of light from the north, to be honest. It's just one of those orientation type of things. She's concerned about our side yard setback, but she's at 0.42. The distance between the homes is mostly because we're set back further from our property from her. She's actually quite close to the property. With regards to James, who just spoke at 34, I do appreciate his comments. As a bungalow, of course, any development adjacent to him would have a large impact, but the bylaw does permit two-story homes in the area. We do have a distance of about 6 foot 10 inches between his building and the proposed, which is not, I would say, a tunnel effect. I understand you use that term. It's unfortunate that any bungalow will be impacted by redevelopment, but it is something within the bylaw. And planning does look at these conditions. When they developed the new bylaw for the city, they did look at they didn't restrict them and say, well, you can only have one-story homes here. But we are maintaining the difference between the required eaves overhang is to be a foot, and we're 6 inches from the property line. It's not a huge difference, but especially they're not right up against us. There's a distance, as I said, about 6 foot 10 inches between the homes. So it's for drainage. It's for ways of water to the roof to drain off of. So it's not, I don't think it's going to be detrimental in any way. As far as the variances themselves, the wall height was brought up, but I just want to point out again that the wall height is for a window that projects beyond the eaves. That it's not, the entire wall is not at 8.53. That's for a window on the side elevation. If you want to show the side elevation drawing, we can illustrate what that looks like. To be really clear, that's it right there. So that window there, that little projection above, that's the 8.53 is to the top of that. That's it. The eaves themselves are pretty consistent with other patterns on the street and in the area. And I don't think I have anything else to say. I mean, patterns, the city planning has looked at this and they have no concerns. They just asked us to tie it to the side elevations as proposed, and that's what we are prepared to do that. The other thing I'll just point out really quickly is the trees. There are no trees impacted by this. The variance or the condition of forestry is for us to plant the tree in the front. So there's no injuries proposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rubinoff. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. Listening really carefully, it's really very difficult when you have quite a number of, people in opposition. And I note number 34, 25, 29, 27, 5, 30, 36, and then the neighborhood association. So that's around 8 people. However, looking at this application, and with respect to, if I hadn't seen any opposition, it would have still struck me as something that was quite reasonable. And to further that with the explanations provided by the agent here today, I'm willing to accept that as well. And I don't see any concerns from staff, and it will be subject to forestry. So I'm going to make a motion to approve this application based on my best assessment of it, and it will be made in accordance with the side exterior main wall heights being developed substantially in accordance with the north and south side elevation drawings attached to the report. And again, forestry applies. And that's my motion.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion. Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries. Mr. Rubinoff, your application's been approved, subject to urban forestry and city planning conditions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're now on item number 31, 287 Lytton Boulevard. I have the agent, Ali Shakiri. Are you there, sir? Ali
Good afternoon,
Shakiri,
Ali
are you
Shakiri.
there?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Ali
Yes.
Shakiri, 326 Shepherd Avenue East.
Yes, thank you, sir. I have, looking at your application, sir, the only staff comments I see here are recommended conditions from urban forestry. There are two variances before us, one for FSI, the other for west side yard setback, but we do have one other person registered to speak to this application. So, sir, if you could give us a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal.
Indeed, as you mentioned, we are asking for only two variances, and both of them are very straightforward. We are increasing the floor space index from 0.35 to 0.6. I have submitted some comparables, which shows that variances as high as 0.69 have been approved in close proximity, like this one on display. If you turn to the second page, number 270 Lytton Boulevard, just across the street, and you can see highlighted in purple is approved by 69 times, just across the street, just last year on March 2021. And there are fair bit of very many examples as you go down the list. I'm sure you have a copy of this. We didn't go any more than 60% because that's what we needed, and we didn't want to basically request any more than that. We believe that's reasonable. And for the side yard variance, that 1.2 meters is only for the garage portion on the west side. That would allow us to have a little bit of extra room on the entrance. Again, I find it reasonable, and I have no further comment. Happy to answer any question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Christine McKendry or Andrew Pilla. Are you there?
My name is Christine McKendry, and I live at 285 Lytton Boulevard. I'm on the east side of the proposed dwelling, the low side of the property. So I have two objections today. My objection is to variance number 1 with respect to the increase in the density of this particular dwelling. Today, the existing property is a house that was either rebuilt or addition put on about 15 years ago, and it is already almost twice the size of the FSI rather. The concern we have, my husband and I have, is simply that we have sustained significant water damage because our property, being on the low side, takes on a significant amount of water during a heavy rainfall. Because
Madam, before you go further on, I've stated this before, the committee doesn't deal with drainage issues. Drainage issues are dealt with at the building permit stage. If this application is approved, the applicant would have to submit a lot grading plan that shows that his stormwater is managed on his own property. Okay, so I suggest you maintain your presentation relating to the variances requested, not to stormwater management.
Okay. Then my second objection would be as to why there is no variance request on the east side where there is a bump out to the front area of the property there, which would then put it inside that 1.5 meter current bylaw. As you can see, the bump out to the front end, correct, would be inside the 1.5 meter current, I guess, allowance. And I'm asking why there wouldn't be a request for a variance on that portion of this plan.
And I can't tell you, madam, but we'll ask the applicant when he comes back.
Okay, and then then further, what I will say is that due to the changing of the variance on my side of the property, for me, it impedes both the risk to the natural beauty of that side of the property, both the vine that's been there for decades, as well as the trees that have been there for decades, and looking for some assurances from the owners in terms of their ability to protect the fence, the vines, and the trees that align that side of the property. In addition to my question about why there is no variance request for that bump out.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go back to the agent. Mr. Shakiri, are you there?
Yes, sir. If I can have my supporting material be displayed, I greatly appreciate that first page showing a purple highlighted area is the existing building, basically, which is wider than the proposal and almost the same length as the proposal. I think perhaps the FSI is also comparable just because of the poor condition of the house. The owner has decided to renew the house. And it's basically regarding the massing, we are not going to be proposing anything that's overly larger than that, this is not even a modern concept or one of those stacked concepts that we have and we see every day that they're like 2 stories above the garage. This is very, very modest kind of design that's providing a new home for family. And as I showed on the evidence provided, there are a lot of precedents of the same type of FSI and greater. Regarding the bump out, that is a permitted encroachment under 10.540.60 of the bylaw 569/2013. That would allow a chimney burst to encroach a maximum of 60 centimeter. In this case, I think we are at less than 60 centimeters, so that is not considered a variance, and we have not asked for that variance anyways. And as for the trees, because the building is basically sitting almost where the previous building was, there is no impact on the trees whatsoever. I've seen that there is a condition from the forestry which will be accepted by all means, and if there is any further question, I'd be more than glad to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm satisfied by the agent's explanation with regard to these variances. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application subject to forestry condition.
Thank you, Mr. Kidd. Someone to second that? Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Oh, Mr. Khan, you're in favor? Okay, thank you. That motion carries unanimously. Mr. Shakiri, your application is approved, subject to urban forestry conditions, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now on item number 32, 266 Young Boulevard. I have the agent, Ida Evangelista. Are you there? Ms. Evangelista, are you there?
Ida, you're unmuted.
Ms. Evangelista, are you there?
If she's not there, she's in a total hearing.
Okay, well, I'll
yes,
move on.
I'm here.
Yes,
yes, no, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Hi, Ms. Evangelista. Okay. Can I just get your full name and address, please?
Ida Evangelista, 53 Bentworth Avenue, Toronto.
Okay, thank you, madam. I just have, I note that on this file, 266 Young Boulevard, there are no staff comments or recommended conditions. There is no one else appearing in interest on your application. It's pretty clear what you're asking for and the variances we have before us today. I just wanted to ask, is there anything you'd like to tell the committee that isn't contained in the material we have before us this afternoon?
Mr. Chair, members, I believe that I have gone through and put everything forward to you and to the members. We have gone through extensive changes in the with the plans, with the application, and which demonstrates good faith to our neighbors. We've removed several variances, and I believe the application that is in front of you now is much more suitable for the neighborhood, and with no opposition, I believe it demonstrates itself.
Okay. Thank you. I'll just ask the committee. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, there are 9 variances before us, and there is no staff recommendation. And these are minor variances I consider. Therefore, I move this application be approved.
I'm sorry, Mr. Khan, you're breaking up there. What was your recommendation?
Sir, my recommendations are that this application be approved.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion for Mr. Khan to approve the application. Someone to second that motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? A motion carries unanimously. Ms. Evangelista, your application has been unanimously approved without condition. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to move ahead, Ms. Evangelista. I understand that you have a time constraint, so we're jumping ahead to item number 37, which is 223 Armour Boulevard.
Actually, Mr. Chair? Hello?
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
My other item in Etobicoke is now up next.
Okay,
so I can leave this at 37, but I greatly, greatly appreciate you trying to work with me.
Okay, thank you. We'll put you back on the regular list then. Thank you. Good luck. We're on item number 33, 9 Waring Court. I have two people registered to speak. The agent is a Joseph Battaglia. Are you there, sir? Mr. Battaglia, are you there? Joseph Battaglia, are you there?
Mr. Chair, I don't see Joseph on the call. I've unmuted someone named Joe.
That's me.
Oh.
That's me.
Joe Battaglia, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Joe, if you could refrain from touching the unmute button, I will unmute you.
Mr. Battaglia, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can I get your full name and address, please?
My name is Joe Battaglia, 1050 McNichol Avenue, Scarborough, Unit 14, M1W2L8.
Okay, thank you, sir. I have just gone through your file. I note that there is a number of staff reports here. There's a recommended condition from Urban Forestry. There is a Transportation Services report of the 7th of July that had no objections to the driveway width. There's a City Planning report dated the 6th of July of this year, which recommends modifying variance number 2 for the proposed lot coverage. So I just wanted to know, sir, have you read those reports?
We've read the reports, and we've also discussed the coverage with planning and have reduced it to 32% from the 33.4%.
Okay, so that's let me just go up here to make sure we've got this covered correctly. So that's variance number 2, which currently reads, the proposed lot coverage is 33.4% of the lot area, and you're modifying that from you're reducing that from 33.4% to 32%. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you, sir. If you could, we have one other person registered to speak here, so if you could give us a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal.
We're asking for some minor variances that have to do with coverage from 30% to 32%. We're asking for variances in height and that's those are the only two real variances, but they both have to do with height. The other two variances, the driveway is not doesn't look like it's going to be an issue, and so that we feel that we are doing something that is in keeping with the general direction of development in the area, and we feel that it is appropriate and meets the four tests of the Planning Act. So we ask that this variance be approved.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Jian Jun. I think I've got that right. Jianjun. Are you there?
Hi, hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, can I get
Can
your
you hear
full
me?
name and address, please?
Full name is Jianjun Jiang, and the address is 193 Brookbanks Drive.
Okay, thank you. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application?
No, I don't have any comments. I'm okay.
Okay, okay, thank you. Won't go back to Mr. Battaglia. There's no reason to. There's no comment there. Just asked, does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? Okay, or any further questions of the applicant? There being none, or just to be clear, there is a modification, the revision to the application, variance number 2, the proposed lot coverage has been reduced from 33.4% to 32%. So if I could get a motion on this revised application, please. Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've listened to the applicant's representative, and I understand that he has made the changes as specified in the July 6th planning report. So I would move approval of this application subject to that modification of variance 2 in their report. Also the July 7th urban forestry requirements and the July 7th transportation services which had no objections.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hunt. Someone to second Mr. Hunt's motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your revised application has been approved subject to urban forestry conditions and city planning conditions. No, there is no city planning conditions. I'm sorry, just urban forestry conditions. You've satisfied city planning. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're item number 34, 1780 Victoria Park Avenue has been deferred. Item number 35, 22 Prestwick Crescent has been deferred. Item number 36, 190 Wedgwood Drive. I have one person registered to speak. That is Reza Dadashi. Are you there?
I'm here, sir.
Yes,
Hello.
Can I get your full name and address, please?
Reza Dadashi, address is 190 Wedgwood Drive, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay, thank you, sir. Going through your application, I note that there's a report here from City Planning dated the 5th of July, which recommends modifying variance number 5 and refusing variance number 1. Just want to ask, sir, if you've had the opportunity to review that report?
Yes, sir. I'm here to address those two items.
Okay, so would you like to Can we just read into the record then the changes you want to make to your application?
Sorry, sir, I'm not seeking any changes. I'm here to speak to those items of concern.
Okay, so you're not proposing to modify it then?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then if you could give the committee a presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal, especially with respect to city planning's comments.
Sure, I've actually submitted a presentation material to Chris, which I don't see in the list here. This is it, yes. So hi, everybody, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My wife and I are the owners of the property at 190 Wedgwood Drive. I've lived at this house for 12 years. I moved in here when I was single in 2010. I have a wife and 2 kids now. We're running out of space. That's the trigger for the application. I'm here to address 2 items that were identified in the planning report, the side yard setback and the non-encroaching platform. With respect to the side yard setback, what you'll see on the screen is a brief lot study of completed. The required minimum lot frontage in the municipality in this particular area is 15 meters. The lots in red are lots that are greater than 15 meters. That's the prevailing lot sizes on the street. There's the next size down, which is the yellow lots. They're within 1 meter, so within 1 meter of what's required in the bylaw. And the next size down are the green ones that I want to say are the smaller lots in this area. Our house is identified with the star. We're 13.4 meters. We're roughly 5 to 6 feet smaller than the bylaw requirement. You know, the intent of this illustration is just to show that we've got an undersized lot. That's why we're proposing a side yard setback of 3 feet on the west and 4 feet on the east. Next slide, please. So here's a snapshot of several relevant committee of adjustment approvals. The first column with the red box is our house, 190 Wedgwood. The remaining 6 columns are approvals that are similar in nature. If you know, kind of running horizontally in the yellow highlighter, is that all of the properties are subject to the same side yard setback of 1.8 meters. This committee's approved 4 feet side yard setbacks, and we're asking for something similar given our specific lot size being smaller than these. I want to highlight in the red text, you'll see the next column over, there was a 20-meter wide lot. That lot was granted 4 feet side yard setbacks. A 20-meter lot in context is 66 feet. Our lot is 44 feet. We're 22 foot smaller than the largest property on this lot, and hence we're seeking an additional 1 foot reduction than what's been approved in order to account for the smaller lot size. Next slide, please. Similarly, here's another snapshot of other relevant approvals. Again, same side yard setbacks, 1.8 meters. The committee's approved variances between 2 to 4 feet. Sorry, go back a slide, kindly. You know, the precedent of 2 to 4 feet is within the wheelhouse of what's been approved at this committee. We believe the proposed variance to be reasonable, and as you've seen in these 2 charts, this is something that's not going to set a precedent in Ward 18. Next slide, please. So this is really discussing the non-encroaching platform, which is a fancy way of saying the deck. So the deck is identified in the purple box there. This is the proposed deck. The green line is indicating where staff are suggesting the deck be extended out to. I'm providing these photos as illustrations to identify that there's no overlook or privacy concerns. You know, the blue box is illustrating the photo that you'd see if you were standing looking that way. There's a wall of cedar hedges that are 20, 25 feet high that are kind of the pride and joy of our backyard. There's certainly not going to be any privacy or overlook concerns. We would just be extending the deck so that's in line with the building form. Next slide, please. As a recap, you know, there's been 12 recent decisions. We don't believe this variance would negatively impact the built form in the neighborhood. Our proposed deck would not freely overlook or impede any privacies of our neighbors because of the existing landscape, which is the wall of cedar hedges you saw in the last photo. I think these variances meet the 4 tests. And finally, we developed the drawings through several consultations with our neighbors and have received letters of support from 7 of our immediate neighbors identified by the happy faces on the screen there. So thank you, and I'm happy to address any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My concern is with the side yard setbacks on this. The city has told you that they want, city planning has told you that they want 1.2 meters. And I was kind of looking for an argument that some examples of existing buildings that had that would support your 0.9 meter setback, and I didn't hear that. And for that reason, I'm going to put forward a motion to refuse the application.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Kidd to refuse the application. I have someone to second that motion. Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Oh, Mr. Hunter, you in favor? Okay, thank you. That motion carries, sir. Your application has been refused. Thank you very much. We're now on item number 37, 223 Armour Boulevard. The agent is Ida Evangelista. Are you there?
Mr. Chair, Ida has not rejoined the call yet.
This is the last item of the evening, so I guess we'll have to hold off until we can get a hold of her. Yeah, we'll take a break until we can get a hold of the agent. Thank you for your patience. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, committee's back in session. We're on. Oh. Yeah, wait till everybody comes back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Committee's back in session. We're on item 37, 223 Armour Boulevard. I'm looking for the agent, Ida Evangelista. Are you there, madam?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here.
Oh, yes, thank you,
thank
madam.
you very much.
Okay, thank you.
It's either all or nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to go through, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 other persons registered to speak to this application. I just note that, gone through your report, madam, there's a number of reports registered to your file. There's a city planning report dated the 5th of July, which has no objections to your application, subject to a condition. There is a forestry.
with that.
There is a forestry report of the 30th of June, which recommends refusing variance number 1 as it requires removing 5 city-owned trees. There's a committee of, transportation services report of the 7th of July, which recommends refusing variance number 4. So if you'd like to make a presentation to the committee and then make reference to these, specifically the urban forestry reports and the transportation services report, if we could give us a presentation and focus on those issues, if you would.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the last one where you said refuse variance number 4 was which report?
That was,
if you can repeat
hang on
that,
just
sorry.
a moment, that was variance number 4 relates to, just let me read it out here so that everybody, so the audience knows what we're talking about. Variance number 4 is the proposed vehicle access to a parking spaces from both front existing driveway and the new flanking yard, whereas the requirement is a vehicle access to a parking space on a corner lot must be from a flanking street that is not a major street. And that's what Transportation Services is recommending refusal on. And then there's the urban forestry report that recommends refusing variance number 1, which is the side yard setback for the ancillary building of 5.33 meters. So if you could make a presentation, I guess, and since those seem to be the major issues, if you'd like to focus on them.
Yes. Okay. So the transportation report, it was based on the old set of plans. They are now in support of the revised plans. So I submitted a package which outlines all the variances. We now have a driveway and a garage. So we have here the owners that actually Katerina and Marco reached out to all the neighbors, had a conversation with everyone. This is a home that they will be living in. It's going to be an addition alteration. We are altering the front of the home. And if you go to my page 2, you'll see that the variance number 7 relates to the side yard setback of 0.91 just on the garage portion, whereas the remainder of that portion of the home is 2.25 meters. Variance number 3 relates also to the proposed side yard setback of 1.74, but this is existing. So that variance number 3 is to an existing situation. And if we, now variance number 1, where it relates to the proposed side yard setback to the ancillary building of 5.33, that's from the lot line to the front of the garage. We have the boulevard in its entirety. So it steps back, and you'll see from the pictures that I've provided that you'll see how far back on page 4, you'll see how far back it steps back. And you'll also see the view west from the neighboring property behind. And also another clearer picture is on page 5. So the variances that you have in front of you, and then if we continue to page 3, the front wall being altered. So the front wall is being altered to allow for the garage and a new entry point to the home. They're just, you know, changing the front elevation to be a little bit more characteristic to their style. So the variances that you have in front of you, I did read a couple of the letters that were submitted. And, you know, as I mentioned, the owners, Kathy and Marco, they did reach out to the neighbors, and everybody, and you know, the neighbors that they did reach out to were quite happy that they're moving into this house and making additions, alterations. The ancillary building in the back, so we have a garage at the front, yes. And that is something that, you know, we worked together with transportation and created the driveway and the garage point at the front of the house. And the garage at the, the ancillary structure at the back is so that Marco can park his vehicle. And also, and most importantly, is, you know, all of the outdoor storage to be included into that ancillary structure. So with this is more of an ancillary structure than anything. It does, you know, step back substantially from the street. It steps back approximately 10 meters from the street. So with this and the variances cumulatively, I respectfully submit that what you have in front of you is quite sensitive to the neighborhood. They've worked very closely to this. As I mentioned, this is going to be their home, and they want to and have been working with the neighbors and talking to the neighbors. So what I'm proposing is very gradual and sensitive to the neighboring properties. And with this, I'm open for any questions. I do believe and do respectfully submit that this does meet the 4 test and is characteristic to the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Evangelista. Just to be clear, with respect to the Transportation Services Report, which was dated the 7th of July, just to clarify, they were recommending refusing variance number 4 because your proposed driveway from Armour Boulevard was not leading to a legal parking space. And you're saying now that because you've introduced the garage that fronts on Armour Boulevard, that's no longer the case. It's the driveway would lead to a legal parking space. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Kidd?
I'm just curious, are 2 driveways, like 2 garages, is that allowed? It's kind of an unusual situation.
Through you, Mr. Chair, in this particular situation, initially transportation did have comments because the driveway on Armour Boulevard didn't lead to a parking spot, which now does. They don't have any concerns with the parking spot on the flanking street. Their main concern was just adding, and we did add the garage, and that's why we added the garage facing Armour. So I respectfully submit that this is more of an ancillary structure to allow for storage, outdoor storage. They have 2 children, lots of patio furniture, and this gives them that opportunity to store it in there and have parking in the front and 1 parking spot in the back.
Has transportation looked at the revised site plan and approved it?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes. Transportation has reviewed everything. All the departments have further reviewed all the revised plans that you have in front of you. including planning, and that's why planning wants us to tie it to the decision, which we are okay with.
Thank you.
Just to add, Mr. Pereira, did we get anything from any updated reports from Transportation Services? I'll let you look that up, and we'll move on to the next. Does the committee have any further questions? Mr. Khan?
Sir, my question is the same that you have just repeated. We would like to have the follow-up report from transportation.
Okay, we'll see if we can find something. But Mr. Pereira is looking that up now. But we'll move on to any other. Are there any other questions of the speaker? There being none, I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Michael Cavendi. Are you there? Michael Cavendi, are you there? Yes, I can hear you, sir. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yeah, my name is Michael Cavendi, 22 Robbie Avenue, North York, Ontario, M3B.
Sir, we're having trouble hearing. Sir, we're having you're not coming in very clear. You're very, your volume is low. Can you maybe adjust your speaker, your phone settings?
Volume better?
That's a little better.
Better?
That's better.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to kind of bring to light a few concerns, obviously, for the neighborhood and myself, who live just down the street. You know, I guess, you know, Ms. Evangelista had spoken to some of the neighbors being contacted. Myself and my adjacent neighbor who are a street over and actually back onto this Rayburn property were never contacted. He was never actually contacted. Really, the point here is I think Ms. Evangelista has spoken to the fact that there are two driveways or two garages, and she said that that's legal. To the best of what I got out of that, but I think the variance that they're asking for, you know, it's saying that the one driveway should be located on the flanking street, and that's because Armour Heights is a through street, and it presents a very problematic, I guess, a safety issue for anyone backing out of the street or any cars coming through there. I don't think just by adding a garage in and changing that and then adding more variances, you know, to this cumulative variances that are quite substantial. I noted the previous submission they had close to 5 pages, and this one has 3 pages of variances that, you know, in aggregation do not appear to be minor. So when they are talking about moving a tree out of the sight lines on the corner there, putting an additional driveway in, having a secondary garage, you know, and I guess she had said it was originally for, you know, backyard equipment and things like that. No one else is allowed to have these type of things either, but yet now all of a sudden there's an extra parking spot that is there on the side flanking street. You know, it is a little suspect. You know, as to the intentions. I think the original application made it look like there were actually going to be not just an ancillary garage, but almost something of a carriage house or having a secondary person living there. I don't know if that's the case, but you know, it really is. My concern is related to the secondary driveway being on the main street, and I don't think that's a minor variance. I think that's for safety reasons. I don't think that this you know, large scale, you know, development is congruent at all with the neighborhood. I think that's why you do see, you know, people that have stuck around till 5 o'clock and waited for speaking to this, you know, submission, because it is quite, you know, I guess conflicting with what is going on in the neighborhood and just, you know, I think, I hope that at least you know, you can see that these aggregation of many variances, as well as some major ones from, you know, the transportation, the forestry. We haven't even talked about the forestry on the flanking street, let alone the one that's being moved to kind of get the driveway onto the main through street, presenting again a safety issue for anyone there. So, you know, sight lines, 2 garages, safety for everyone there, not being congruent with the neighborhood. You know, having an initial 5-page submission down to, you know, still quite a considerable amount of variances. I think this is something that, you know, really needs to be considered by the committee here, and obviously we respect whatever decision you have, but I think there are other people to speak to this, and I think that, you know, the main concern for me is that the safety issues, and having that secondary driveway, which just seems very unnecessary when there's a perfectly good one on the flanking street in line with the variance, or in line with the building codes or bylaws. So I will leave it at that, and I thank you very much for hearing my concerns, and obviously the neighbors and the whole neighborhood there. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay,
and
thank
committee.
you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Sir, my question is very simple. Are they using the front parking these days or not?
Are they using the front? There is no driveway there, so they can't be used. There's no. It's a completely new structure that they're looking to put up. And you know, I guess on the last submission, there were questions on why do you need 2 driveways? Why do you need 2 garages? Are you putting 2 separate families in this house? You know, and making that, and again, you know, there's a bylaw there for having, you know, the garage and the driveway located on the flanking street. And if you look at Armour Heights, it is a through street for the neighborhood. It is I don't see how anyone can think that it's a good idea to put a driveway on there, move the trees over, and change the total sight lines of people coming around, you know, through the neighborhood, and having this extra driveway there to mix things up. But, you know, that I don't know the original intention of why it was on a flanking street. I just know that, you know, the bylaw had been set up that way, and I think this is a pretty major variance for you know, moving the garage over there, and the multiple variances that kind of, you know, this 2 garage setup encroaches on. So,
thank you,
sir. Can I ask, is the issue with respect to the second the garage with access off Armour Boulevard, is it because you're concerned there might be a secondary suite in there? Because when I went up to look at the site, and I looked at the driveways for the homes at the northwest, the southeast, and the southwest corners, they're all as close to the intersecting street as the one that's proposed on Armour Boulevard for this lot. So I'm unclear as to what the real issue is. Is it the issue because you're concerned it might be a multiple unit dwelling?
That is definitely one concern, as well as the fact that the original proposal is for the driveway to be and the garage to be on the flanking street, and now all of a sudden you're adding in a secondary driveway. Like you said, I'm glad to hear that you had actually gone out there, but you know, putting that extra driveway in there as well too adds to the safety concerns I have for the Armour Street, and putting an additional driveway and a garage there when it's very clear that the variance should be, or the garage and driveway, which is currently on the flanking street, should still be on the flanking street.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Go to the next person on the list. I have a Clary Suraski or Etta Suraski.
Clary Suraski.
Yes, hello. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Clary Suraski, 225 Armour Boulevard.
Yes, madam. Can you give us your thoughts on this application?
So I just wanted to say thank you to the committee and to Mr. Chair for allowing us the opportunity to speak. I reside at the property that abuts the property in question to the north, and I registered to voice my objections to several of the variances, which I find are not minor in nature, but out of respect for the time constraints tonight, I would like to allow my mom to address, who resides with me, to address the issues, so we just don't double take up time. And her name is Etta Saraski.
Is
Okay.
that all right, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, hello.
If
Can I
I
get your
speak?
can I get your full name and address, please?
My name is Etta Saraski, 225 Armour Boulevard. I have lived in the property to the north of the proposal since 1963. Our family has lived there, and I am opposed to the variances. I think it's very interesting to note that the agent for the property owners are calling the ancillary building, but it's not an ancillary building, it's a garage. And they're proposing something that is completely non-existent in the entire neighborhood. There is no property that has 2 garages and 2 driveways in this neighborhood. This would be precedent setting if you allow this. They keep calling it an ancillary building, but it's a garage on the flanking street. And the reason that every house in that neighborhood, the corner homes, have garages on the flanking street is because the lots are a little narrower. And this is the way it was built in 1950. So every corner had a driveway on the flanking street. So they're asking for a new garage on Armour, a new driveway, a new 2-car garage on the flanking street with a new driveway. And this is a real over-intensification of this lot. And I'm quite worried about this. They've asked for a variance to come 0.9 meters, which is 35 inches from the lot line of our house next door to us. And that is too close. And they need that because there's no other way to get that front garage, that new garage, into that proposal. I think that issues of safety are really quite important here. It's a very busy street. Armour has become a thoroughfare to the 401, the exit 401 and Avenue Road. It's day and night. It's not just rush hour. The street is always busy. And you have to be very careful backing out of these driveways. And this proposal puts another driveway right beside our driveway. And I think that it will really obstruct us, being able to come in and out of our driveway. And there's a reason in 1950, all the homes on the corners had the driveways on the flanking street. And I wish that to oppose this because I don't think that this is a minor variance at all. I think that this is like a completely upending and throwing out a bylaw. And I can't see how the city can consider this to be minor. The general intent of the bylaw is that they're covering the lot with asphalt, brick, concrete. The home is 54 feet long that they're proposing. The home that is there now is 28 feet. Our entire backyard will be like a fishbowl now. We have one window of the home at 223 Armour. One window overlooks our lot, a dining room window. The proposal is now for 9 windows and a side door to the secondary suite. So really we've got, an awful lot, a loss of privacy here. And I'm hoping that the committee will not give them these variances, which I don't think are minor. Thank you very much.
Madam, can I ask, you indicated that there weren't any other properties nearby that had 2 access points on either street?
2 driveways.
Yeah, are you sure? Because when I
This
was
is
up,
2, yeah.
because when I was up there, 224 has access to both Rayburn and Armour, and 218 has access to Rayburn and Armour. They both have driveways. They have driveways on both streets.
Nobody has 2 separate driveways.
Yeah, they have separate.
And 2 separate garages.
They have a separate driveway to each street.
I think that this is a precedent with 2 garages on 2 separate streets.
I would
to
argue,
one
Madam,
lot.
that precedent's already been set. Any further questions of the speaker? I'll go to the next person on the list. I have a Nicola Lysis or Jesse Ryder.
Thank you for listening. I'm not going to double up on what you said. Can you hear me okay?
Can just one of you speak, please? Can you tell us which one is going to speak?
Hello?
Hello?
Nicola Lysis. Hello?
Can I get your name and address, please?
Nicola Lysis, 229 Armour Boulevard.
Okay, and if you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application, please?
Yes, thank you very much. First, a comment about what the agent representative said about chatting with all the neighbors. I'm at 229. Neither my husband nor I have spoken to the occupants of the new property. So I just wanted that noted in the record. I think I'd like to mirror everyone's sentiment about the scope and scale of 2 driveways and 2 garages. I'm not going to repeat, but I agree with the unprecedented nature of it. To the honorable councillor's response about it having a precedent, yes, I know that it's duly noted that the one lot on the corner has a small driveway, at 2, I guess it's 224. 218, I'm not familiar with. I'm not sure. I respectfully submit saying that it has a precedent necessarily makes it right for the community. Those 2 houses, both 224 and 218, have a much smaller overall impact and footprint simply because they're not doubled up with 2 driveways and 2 garages. So the traffic impact and safety impact, I think, is significant. I've lived on a house with my husband and have brought 3 children up at this location on a very, very busy street. And I watch my neighbor walk, and I think she'll speak with her young children. Adding cars in and out of that space, I think, is unprecedented. So I would respectfully ask that you guys consider the overall impact, take a broader perspective, and understand what it means to have 2 large structures, or two driveways and 2 garages, which is absolutely unprecedented. 2 driveways, it is amplified by 2 driveways and 2 garages, which I do not believe is a precedent in this neighborhood. So I respectfully disagree with that conclusion. The other thing I'd like to point out is the technical nature of the submission is almost impossible to understand. I mean, you have to be an expert to make wade your way through these technical drawings. I understand probably only 70% of it. And I would just like for the record to state that I wish that they had presented some kind of architectural rendering or something that we could visually understand what exactly they're talking about. It's very hard. I still don't understand if in submission, and maybe you can answer for me, is the property encroaching on city land? I don't understand. Does the garage have a second floor in the back? Perhaps you can answer that for me. Does it have a second floor? Is this property on city land? And how far is the eave coming out on the southwest corner? Don't understand that either. Perhaps someone can enlighten me.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Okay, I have the next person on the list. I have a Jessica Cremasco.
Jessica, you're unmuted.
Jessica Cremasco, are you there?
Yeah, my name's Jessica Cremasco.
Yes, I can hear you. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Jessica Cremasco, 231 Armour Boulevard.
Okay, if you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application.
Well, I'm not going to repeat anything that's been said already. I think my neighbors spoke very eloquently and detailed about the neighborhood's concerns. I will second the fact that neither the real estate agent nor the potential residents, I haven't spoken to anybody that has plans to move into that property. So I'll say that. I am the neighbor that has 2 children. I have a 5-year-old and I have an 8-month-old. So I walk my son to school every day with a stroller. And the traffic in that intersection, Rayburn and Armour, is quite heavy to begin with. And to add another driveway and another car, if, as you say, as the real estate agent said, there's plans to park a vehicle on each of those driveways. The plan to do that and to add to the traffic in the area, I think it should be noted that Rayburn doesn't have a sidewalk. So if you turn on Rayburn to walk down that street, you're walking without a sidewalk. And so I understand there would be a driveway on Rayburn anyway, but then to add another driveway on Armour and add to that traffic at that intersection, I think is a safety concern for all the kids that walk down the street to go to the elementary school. I'll just say a general statement around the application change number 1 and some of the other ones following that, just the general concern that forestry had around the decrease in green space and the native trees being taken away is quite sad. That's one of the reasons we moved into the neighborhood. We really liked the space and the look of the neighborhood and the established trees, and to have any green space taken away is quite sad. So I think that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Does the committee have any question of the speaker? There being none, I'll go back to Ms. Evangelista. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Chair.
Yes, you've heard the comments from the previous speakers. If you'd like to reply.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So I do want to, I know the neighbors have said that they did not receive a reach out, but the owners did go and reach out to the immediate neighbors surrounding their home on all 4 corners. The one thing I missed, Michael Cavendy, the first speaker, where does he live again?
I believe he's on Rayburn.
Rayburn or Robbie? Robbie?
As Robbie.
Robbie, okay. So Robbie is southwest. It's on the other side of Bathurst. So that's why I was I'm a little perplexed how 22 Robbie comes into play when they are very southwest of this property. But you know, that aside, so you visited the property, you saw what we're proposing. We have no coverage variance, we have no height variance, we have no landscaping variance, we have no length variance. You've seen on the 4 corners in this particular area, there are driveways that face Armour and Rayburn. If you go on Google Maps right now, you'll see the car is parked on the side of the house, and they can enter it from Armour and exit into Rayburn. So this is something that is consistent with the neighborhood. All homes on those corners have driveways that face Armour Boulevard. So as for safety, the owners, they have 2 children. They're 11 and 9. So their safety is #1 concern in their books also. So perhaps, I don't recall seeing a stop sign there. Perhaps maybe the counselor can be reached and that would make it safer. The school, walking to the school on Armour, which is, I believe, south of the property, very south of the property. And that would make the area, because there are many driveways along Armour Boulevard when, you know, everyone's walking along the sidewalk. And this is a family community. Everyone has children here. Everyone's walking dogs. I've been in this neighborhood, walking around this neighborhood for several times just to get a feel of the community in itself. So I understand, and I empathize because I understand safety is a huge concern in this neighborhood. As I said, the owners of this property, they have 2 small children, and they too are concerned. So perhaps maybe the councillor can be reached, and they can put a stop sign just to slow down traffic if that's a concern. But the variances that we have, it doesn't affect, even though we have parking on the front-facing armor and we have the ancillary structure, we're not creating any variances that, are relating to the landscaping. We comply with our landscaping, we comply with our coverage. We're keeping the existing house. We're, just fixing up the front of the house. We're adding the ancillary structure so that we have additional storage. So, Mr. Chair, I believe, as you said, you've visited the site. I'm sure many of the members have visited the site and have seen that what we are proposing is something that is consistent in this neighborhood and has worked well for many, many years. So we're not reinventing the wheel here. It's something that does exist. And with this, I propose that this does meet the 4 tests. It is consistent and characteristic to the neighborhood. And I'm open for any questions.
Ms. Evangelista, there seems to be a concern that this might be a property where they want to put in more than 1 dwelling unit. And I think because of the perception that with the 2 garages, that's creating a multiple unit dwelling. And I don't see that from the plans, but can you confirm that this is just a single family unit?
This is a single Mr. Chair, this is a single family unit for Kathy, Mark, and their 2 children. And they have elderly parents that, visit from time to time. And that is, and if there is any other, as we know, when they go through the building permit process and they go through the construction process, if the inspector sees that there is anything that is being built different than what was submitted, there's either an order to comply or a stop work order. But I can assure you, this is a single family home for the 4 of them.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Evangelista. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam, my question is about the trees. When you are going to have the front entrance for the car from Armour Boulevard, are the trees involved in cutting, and these are healthy trees?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the trees that are there we have to go through. Obviously, we have, I did see that Forestry Department has and would like us to implement conditions forestry, and we do have to get their approval prior to receiving a building permit. Of anything that will be cleaned up, it's all old debris or small, cedars, weeds that, as we know, there are weeds that grow into little trees, and that's what is going to be cleaned up. We did, the Kathy and Mark have met with Jeff, who lives directly behind, and whatever they do clean up in ways of trees, they've come to an understanding that, and an agreement that whatever is replanted is suitable for both sides.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? Mr. Kidd.
Ms. Evangelista, the original site plan that you submitted to the city did not have the front garage. Is that correct?
When we first started, that is correct. Through you, Mr. Chair, Member Kidd, yes, on the original submission, it did not.
So they didn't have a chance to consider the 0.91 meter setback that you're requesting in variance 7. That would be something new for them, right?
That is correct.
Okay. You don't, I would have a lot of difficulty, just speaking for myself, I have a lot of difficulty supporting this application, given the fact that it hasn't been reviewed by planning and it hasn't been reviewed by transportation in its current form. You wouldn't consider deferring this application?
Through you, Mr. Chair, planning has reviewed it, and they are actually, because we have worked quite closely with planning, and in its current form, they do support the application. However, they would like us to tie the attachment, the drawing, site plan drawing, as a condition to the decision. But we did work very closely, and we came up with this plan working with transportation and working with planning.
But we don't have any written documentation from either planning or transportation that they reviewed this revised application and are comfortable with it. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there is a staff report dated July, sorry, my bad. There is a staff report dated July 5th from planning that states, and I believe through you, Mr. Chair, the member Kidd, the chair did state that planning had no objections from their memorandum, their staff report.
Yeah, Mr. Kidd, the July 5th planning report makes reference to this application that has the garage access off of Armour, or has a garage off Armour. And I asked Mr. Pereira if we've received any follow-up comments from transportation about the drawing that Ms. Evangelista is referring to that shows the garage access to Armour, but we don't have anything subsequent to their last memo that was dated, I think that's April 7th. So there's no follow-up memo from that report, which at that time wasn't recommending approval because the driveway off Armour didn't lead to a legal parking space. There hasn't been any subsequent report from transportation since April 7th of 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions of the speaker? Could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I've listened really intently to what everyone has to say, and this is one of these cases, and I happen to also agree with Member Kidd, that just reaching out to 4 people at the 4 corners is simply not enough. Not for this neighborhood, not for this type of project. And I do listen to what the members have said within that neighborhood who actually live there, who are there daily with their children, and it has nothing that convinced me around traffic or even safety. It really is the fact that I do think this is newer for this neighborhood. I do not think that this is the character of the neighborhood. So I'm agreeing with the members that are there, that are living there. And I've heard what they've said very strongly and very passionately. And I didn't hear much of an argument that went into the details of those variances. Really, I've heard that somebody lives another area off, and things that don't matter that would help me with my decisions. And I've got a transportation report that says that they're not, they're not they want us to refuse the variance 16 about the double parking and garage on 2 different streets. And when I look at each variance, I think, to me, it's grand. And then cumulatively, it's also grand. And just the fact that there isn't ample support, not from the neighbors and not from the members within our own jurisdictions that are supposed to inform us of this in a positive way, I don't feel positive about this, and I can't put my support behind this. So I motion to refuse this application.
Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Sankar to refuse the application. Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Ms. Evangelista, your application has been unanimously refused. And that is the last item of our agenda. If I could get someone to make a motion to close the hearing. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. And we are closed. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, panel members. Have a great evening. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, everybody. Happy birthday, Giovanna.
Thank you. Good